Hey, my name is Maor and I'm going to present to you some information about the physics behind surfing. But before that, there are some information that you need to know about surfing. Surfing is a sport that with the time got identity with California, but it actually started in Hawaii. Technological advantages developed over the years and designs have made the sport accessible to the public around all over the world. Even in Israel, there are people who follows after Durian that brought the surfing in Israel at the 50s. A little bit about the history of surfing. At first, every surfboard was made of wood. Over the time, they found new variants of wood and improved the old wood. Once the World War II began, the board design has changed quickly because of improvements made in different materials following the requirements of the war. In the 1960s, entered to the picture fiberglass and foam that changed all the surfboard and the fins of the board. In the 70s and 80s, people started to use epoxy material also to design the board. In fact, it's also the board that we know today. These days, trying to put plastic as well as new material surfboard. But until that will happen, we will still continue to surf the board we know today.
Hello, my name is Roy and I'm here to talk to you about the physics behind wave surfing. First of all, what I want to talk to you about is where the waves actually come from. So, in order to have what we call a surfable wave, we need some things to happen in the ocean. We need a big storm with strong wind currents that act on the surface of the ocean on a large area as possible for a long period of time. Once we get all of those things combined, what we get is a large variety of big waves and turbulent waves that will reach the shore. Once they leave the storm area, what they get is a property named dispersion. What dispersion actually means is that the bigger waves have larger velocity than the smaller waves, which means they travel faster and then they get more organized and less messy, and then you can actually surf those waves. When you want to catch a wave, the first thing that you want to do is pedal and obtain a speed that is equivalent to the speed of the wave. What you're actually doing is accelerating from rest, and when you get to this certain point, what you want to do is use your acceleration to go down the face of the wave and stand up, of course. So when you're doing that, those three forces combined are equal to 0, which means that you have no more acceleration and you have a constant speed that is equivalent to the wave. We have those forces, like the gravity force, the green one, acts straight down from the center of mass, and we have the buoyancy force, which is perpendicular to the face of the wave, acts just like that and keeps you floating on the water, not sinking. And the third one is the hydrodynamic force, which is this one, and it's a drag force, if you will, or friction force of the water with the board. That's how you scientifically ride a wave. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kfir. One of the most important categories in the board is the shape to get the perfect board for the surfer. One change can make the surfer harder to catch a wave because the interview force between the surfer and wave. One of the main components is the length. There are three main lengths for surfboard. The longboard is the longest, above 9 feet long. The second is hybrid or funboard, is between 7 to 8 feet. The third is the shortboard, is less than 7 feet long. The longer the board is easier for the surfer to catch a wave. This is why the longboard is for beginners in the field. Other change on the board, like weight and thickness, will affect the amount the foam, therefore it is more floating, so it's easier for the surfer to catch a wave. But the surfer wants smaller board to maneuver well because it has less surface area on the water. The nose kick is the distance that the front of the board is raised. Nose kick plays very major part in the board design because the nose needs to be raised to prevent the board tip going underwater when catching a wave. The final touch is the fin on the board design. Fins very significant in design and performance. The larger the fins will be more stable but also make it harder to the surfer to turn the board. Without the fin, the surfer can lose control. Usually surfboards come with one large fin for beginners or three small ones for more advanced surfers.
Hello, my name is Osher and I will talk about the materials of the surfboard. Basically, we have four main parts to the surfboard. As you can see, it's the core, the stringer, the laminates and the fins. Okay, let's start with the core, which is basically the body of the surfboard. Usually made out of polyurethane foam. The reason for that is because it's easy to shape, it's buoyant, it has a closed shell which doesn't absorb water, and compared to other materials, it's not expensive. When you look at this specific material, you also have types, and you have a smaller cell polyurethane which is very dense and having the strength needed for large waves, or you have a larger cell polyurethane will be less dense but easier to ride and more likely to break. Let's look at the stringer. The stringer, it's the wooden center strip along the board, usually made out of basswood and sometimes made out of balsa or redwood or other wood that's available at the moment, and his purpose is to be the I-beam of the board, stiffening and making it stronger. Let's look about at the laminates, which is covered the surfboard. Usually it's fiberglass and resin. The surfboard is coated in fiberglass and finally sealed with resin. How much of which one, it depends on what characteristic a surfer desire. But most of the surfers will do a thicker fiberglass cloth in the top of the surfboard because more stress is applied to the board on the top than on the bottom. And for conclusion, we've talked about the history, the physics, the shape and the materials of the surfboard and surfing itself. And as you can see, human beings have been riding the ocean's wave for hundreds of years. Those who surf then and those who surf these days doesn't think about either the physics of catching a wave or the engineering of a surfboard. In contrast to this, surfboard designers understand the physical principle and the art of buoyancy, which gave many skilled surfers the tools to break new records and go further and beyond, especially in the birthplace of modern surfing, California. Thank you, bye bye.